Well, good morning. I am Dr. Nicole Turner Lee, the director of the Center for Technology Innovation at the Brookings Institution, a global think tank headquartered in Washington, D.C. And I'm excited to be here with all of you, whether you are attending in video or you're on the phone, because this is our opportunity to introduce you to the Get Connected Interactive Resource Fair. This is a way that you're going to actually find out how to get connected to the internet affordably. I have an aunt who recently called me and said, "What is this internet thing and why do I need to be a part of it?" Because she's starting to realize that everything that she is actually doing, getting ready for the holiday, involves an online connection. So I'm here today with our special guest, my dear friend Tom Camber, who is the executive director of Older Adults Technology Services from the AARP, and Stephanie Dougherty, who is the Director of Marketing from Comcast Internet Essentials. We're going to be joined later in this program by representatives who are going to speak to why you need to be connected. So you don't often listen to my voice as the sole voice during this call. And they're coming to us from places like Boston, DC, and Detroit that are focused on ways to help older Americans get connected. And we could not do this program this morning without having them here to talk about their experiences locally. I want you to know that as you listen to these speakers, there are programs that can help you get online. And those programs allow for the affordability of low cost internet services, free technology training, and resources to help you get and stay connected. Between my aunt and my own dear mother, we need during this pandemic to have all of you listening and participating today to be part of this internet ecosystem. And what do I mean by that? When I was growing up, I had this phone number, 886-2437. And we used to go out on the porch and yell to our friends and family because we didn't have things like the internet. Well, today, you got to see your grandkids, and you also have to stay in touch with your doctors and other caregivers. So let's talk about in this TV radio show format. You can tell that I'm not Oprah, but I try to be. Let's talk about how to get Americans connected. And Tom knows what I'm talking about. You can join our conversation and ask your questions live on this call at any time during the program. Just press 3*3 on your telephone keypad to get connected with a live person who will note your question, *3, asterisk 3. And then we'd ask that you share any other questions that you may have. You might be more sophisticated than we think, and you might be on Twitter, so send those questions as well. So with that, let me turn it over to my dear friend Tom, who's going to share a little bit more about this program. And he's also going to share how you can enter a contest to win a Chromebook if you stick around with us long enough. Hey, Tom, how are you?
I am very well, Nicole. Thank you so much for that great introduction. And, we all have a family member who's coming up to the holidays and is asking questions about technology. So we hope to take the time today to really help people get coordinated a little bit. I do want to say for those of you that are on, especially if you're on the telephone today, get yourself a piece of paper and a pencil because we are going to give out a few phone numbers during the call. We're going to be mentioning a few website addresses, and you may want to have a piece of paper to write those down that you can share with a family member if you want to, have them help you get online later on to look at something. So that's just a little bit of housekeeping here. But I just want to re-echo a little bit what Nicole is just saying around the connectivity issue for older adults. We're finding that for many people, getting online is as basic as having heat and hot water and electricity, and it's an essential tool for people to do a lot of things in daily living. And it's not just something you want to have at the library. It's something that people really need in their own homes. We've all learned during this terrible pandemic that sometimes those choices between having to go in person somewhere and go to a store or have to do something, specifically with your presence can put you at risk. And so being able to do a lot of these tasks from home requires that we have home-based internet. So we call that digital inclusion because there's really a challenge that a lot of older people out there are not online. We've learned at OATS, we did a study last year that about 42% of older people in America do not have internet from home. And so we have this national campaign right now. My nonprofit is called Older Adults Technology Services from AARP. And we have been working on a project called Aging Connected. to help older people get online around the country. And we really focusing on this issue of digital inclusion. In fact, Nicole has a book coming out this year called Digital Invisible, How the Internet is Creating a New Underclass, which I'm really excited to read. It's going to give us a chance to really learn more about that big pattern of the effect that being online has for people. I have great news for you, though, this year, which is to say that the federal government has passed two landmark legislative initiatives, one called the Emergency Broadband Benefit, EBB. We'll be talking about that a little bit today. And that provides the first ever subsidy for low income people to get online on the internet. So that's a really big deal. And that program is being replaced. Sorry to be coming with a little bit of a switcheroo here, but in January, there's a new version of that coming out called the Affordability Connectivity Program. These are both federally funded programs. They've been passed by Congress, and they provide a subsidy for lower income people so that can pay for some, or even in many cases, maybe even all of your internet costs. So we really want people to learn about that so that if cost has been a barrier, we can help you overcome that. OATS, just one or two words about us. We're a nonprofit. We're based in New York City. We're affiliated with AARP. We provide free technology programs for older adults all over the country. We've taught hundreds of thousands of people. Just this last year, we had 270,000 people come onto our programs and take classes. And we run a website called seniorplanet.org. So if you got that piece of paper, here's a chance to use the pencil, seniorplanet.org, and we have all of our free classes on there that you can just go on and log on. We target everything at people over the age of 60, and we're very age positive. We feel that as people get older, they get better, and the technology is a way for you to kind of capture some tools to help you live your best life out there. Couple more things, and then I'll switch it. We'll hand it back to Nicole. One is we're really excited to have support from Comcast here. Internet Essentials from Comcast is one of the kind of pioneer programs to get lower income people all over the country online. And they've been partnering with OATS for many years, trying to make sure that we can bring seniors together to help older people do this as well. And then finally, if you need some resources and want to follow up, get the pencil, here we go again. The website address is agingconnected.org. And then there's one of those slashes, like they call it a /. So agingconnected.org/EBB. agingconnected.org/EBB. And that is the site where we have all the information on the internet about that emergency broadband benefit. If you're not sure, you can't remember what somebody said today, you can go there, get more information, get updated, accurate information about how to sign up for those benefit programs. And then we have a hotline for people who prefer the phone, as many of us do, and that is 877, here's the number ready, 877-745-1930. That's pretty much all I have for my introduction here. I'm going to hand it back to Nicole, and I'm going to later on in the presentation, I'm going to talk about that Chromebook giveaway. So hang on till we get through that. I really want to make sure people get to participate, but we're pretty excited to be able to announce that program as well. Thanks.
Well, thanks so much, Tom. It's so interesting. Tom and I have known each other for many decades, to the point that when we actually find ourselves talking about this issue continuously, we're real passionate about it because we know what the power of technology can actually do. Again, I'm Nicole Turner Lee. I am a researcher at the Brookings Institution and the director of the Center for Technology Innovation. Tom, thank you for that shout out. I do have a book coming out. It will be out next spring, so you need to read it. It's about people across the United States, from older Americans to younger Americans and farmers and people of color, and how they use the internet. And I need some book sales, so I need you all to purchase it, please, or at least find a way to get it or listen to it or something, okay? I want to turn over now to Stephanie, who is with Internet Essentials from Comcast. And it's no surprise that this program has been around for a long time, Stephanie. And so I'm excited that you're here, particularly as we're making this connection with the work that Tom is doing at OATS and what the AARP is doing. Let's go over to you and tell us a little bit more as we have this conversation on the Get Connected Interactive Resource Fair.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Nicole, for that introduction. And thank you, Tom, for having me today. We are such huge supporters of the work that OATS does, and we're so grateful for your partnership. So as Nicole mentioned, I'm Stephanie Doherty, and I'm representing Comcast today. And I'd like to tell you how you might qualify for free internet through the Internet Essentials program. So what is Internet Essentials? Internet Essentials from Comcast provides high-speed home internet for only $9.95 a month. And we also support free digital literacy training, and that's available in print or online or in person. And we also have the option for you to purchase a computer for less than $150. As mentioned, technology has enabled us all to better weather this COVID-19 pandemic. And that might be, ordering groceries or telehealth visits or connecting with loved ones. And all of that's made easier by having a home internet connection. So, how do you sign up for Internet Essentials? Well, it only takes a few minutes. It's very easy. You can either go to our website, which is internetessentials.com/seniors, or if you'd rather call us, the number is 1-855-8-INTERNET, or that is 1-855-846-8376. And for anyone listening who might need assistance paying for their internet connection, Comcast is proud to participate in the federal government's emergency broadband benefit program that Tom just mentioned. This is a benefit that provides up to $50 a month credit per household for your internet bill. And as mentioned, on December 31st, that's going to transition over to the Affordable Connectivity Program. And that's going to provide you $30 a month for eligible participants to get a credit on your internet bill. So if you'd like to apply and you're interested in getting your internet bill paid for, definitely give us a call and we'll walk you through the process. It's very, very easy. So to find out more, please call us at 855-8-INTERNET. Again, that's 855-846-8376.
Thank you so much, Stephanie, for that. And can you repeat that number one more time so that we make sure, since we have a hybrid audience this morning of people who are watching us live and people who are on the radio, say that number one more time so people know how to get access to this program.
Absolutely. You can call 855-846-8376.
Thank you so much for that. And I want to actually come to both of you because I think we got a couple of questions in the queue. If you are listening to us as part of this Get Connected Interactive Resource Fair, please, if you're on by phone, hit 3** and you will be directed to someone who will take your question. I think the questions are already coming, so I got a few I want to actually pivot to Tom and to Stephanie. If you're online, you're able to send those questions as well. This is interactive, my friends. We're not here to sell a government program. We're not necessarily here to sell you broadband service. What we're here to sell you is a pathway to a future. And trust me, as we see during this pandemic, and look what's happening now, more of us having to stay at home. We're going to need this ramp to communications to stay in touch with our loved ones, our doctors, and others who are really supportive of our care. We got to use, my mother, she uses it to get her groceries. We got to make sure that for those of us that don't have family in town, that we're being taken care of and we have communication trails between each other. I want to go to Tom and Stephanie just real briefly before we hear from representatives from Boston and Detroit. And I'd like to ask a question that comes to us from James. Um, it's an overview of the program, how much gig is involved with it. I love that awareness of the speed of the internet service that's going to be available. Can either one of you speak to that? Because I want to make sure that the folks that are listening understand the capacity of the internet that's going to be available and provided through the program.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for your question. So, Internet Essentials is 50 megabytes per second, which is enough speed to allow multiple devices to be streaming at the same time. Great for surfing the web, email, listening to music, watching videos, things like that.
Tom, any other things or add-ons that you want to just share as part of the program so people can contextualize that going forward?
Well, I think it's important just to say that the level of service that's provided is certainly standard for a normal household at home, and you should always shop around with your different options and look into different alternatives that people have. But this is definitely one of the options that people have that I think really brings. They brought millions of people online with it for years. And then I would just also say that, there's different levels of technology speeds that you can get from different kinds of programs. But for most households, that 25, what they call 25 megs downstream, which is internet, the data coming toward your house, is adequate for most uses that people have.
And then one other question I think that is boiling around in people's eyes and minds right now is who can apply? Can you just sort of break that down for people so they know that this is not, a special program that only certain people can apply for?
Yeah,
Stephanie or
absolutely.
Tom?
So
Yeah,
you
go ahead,
may
Stephanie. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So you may be eligible for Internet Essentials if you qualify for programs like Medicaid, housing assistance, um, really any of those large public assistance programs. But our agents are ready to, take your call and help you walk through the application to see if you're eligible. There's no harm in applying.
Right, that's right. You don't know what you don't know, and you won't find out if you don't apply. You hear that, folks? I've heard that. I think I'm telling my son that now as he thinks about different opportunities for the summer as a college student. I want to reach out to, and this is a live show, so I'm assuming that he is still on this phone. Uh, James, are you still on the line to ask your
Yes,
question to Tom and to Stephanie?
yes.
All right, you got the mic, my friend. Go ahead and ask your question.
How much would this cost for a senior?
Perfect. Tom or Stephanie?
I'll let
Yeah, thank
Stephanie
you
take
so
that
much.
one.
Yeah, thank you so much for your question. So Internet Essentials is only $9.95 a month. There's no catch with that. All the equipment is included, free Wi-Fi connection is included. There's no fees.
Yeah, and I should mention, depending on where you live, because people are calling in from all over the country onto this seminar, this webinar, there may be people that have a different provider, and those federal subsidies that we talked about are available for any provider who participates. And so, in that case, it really matters to call up your provider, make sure that they are participating in the emergency broadband benefit program or in the affordable connectivity program, and ask. What the different costs would be. Usually people choose the lowest cost option, and if that subsidy is above that level, it could be free to you if you're getting your federal subsidy. So the Internet Essentials is a very low price point, but make sure you're also getting those federal subsidies to include there. It could be free to you.
Yeah, that's such an important question. And thank you for bringing that out as well, Tom. For people
Sure.
who are listening, and I know we are a little confusing because we have this new president who actually decided to keep this program going. Some of you might have actually heard about the emergency broadband benefit on the radio, on the phone, through commercials from Comcast. Guess what? It's sticking around. It's got a new name, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the program is changing. So that's why we're talking about it today. Hey, Sonia, I know you're on the line and you have a question. Can you go ahead and ask your question to Tom and Stephanie, please?
Yes, good morning. I wanted to
Good
know,
morning.
okay, I already have the internet and I'm really struggling to pay for it. I want to know if I already have it, can I apply for the broadband assistance?
Stephanie
And
or Tom?
you can.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not sure who your provider is, but if you are, working with Comcast or Xfinity, you absolutely, if you're already a customer, can apply and get the credit so that your bill is either very low or free.
And yes, if you already have internet, you can call up and apply for these public benefits as well that will help you pay for the internet. I just want to reiterate that almost all of the major providers around the country are participating in that federal emergency broadband benefit and are expected to participate in the affordability connectivity benefits. So those federal programs they do allow people to pay for broadband even if you've already gotten on and you're having a hard time paying your bill.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Sonia, for that question. And I think what the challenge is and why we're doing this call today, this resource fair, is to get folks like you to understand how this program works and to give you that light at the end of the tunnel that you can do this. Okay. This is just a matter of knowing what resources are available. Before we close out, Tom and Stephanie, because I want to keep this going, because I'm going to respect everybody's time that is on this call, right? We're going to try to end up in that hour that we promised you. Uh, both of you, give me again, and Stephanie, I'll start with you. How can people sign up for this program? If you could repeat those digits, that would be great, so people know that they can get on the phone and call, or they can get online and get connected.
Absolutely. Thank you, Nicole. So if you are interested in applying for Internet Essentials, you can call 855-846-8376. Or if you'd like to apply online, you can visit internetessentials.com/seniors.
That's right. And listen, I know we're talking about people not being connected to the internet, but you've got some young people that can help you, okay? So find that person over the holidays and tell them to get you online to actually get connected to this program. I couldn't resist, because that's how my mother is. I get those calls in the middle of the night about, baby, how do I do this? Okay. Tom, in terms of the resources coming out of OATS, you want to just repeat how people stay connected to you and the wonderful things that you're doing?
Absolutely. And just for people who may have joined us in the last few minutes and didn't hear the first round of this, I'm the executive director of Older Adults Technology Services, OATS, from AARP. And we are a nonprofit organization. Our job is to help older people get connected and support them for free. And our main, if you're focusing on these new benefits, we have set up a special website called agingconnected.org/EBB. And if you go to that website, you'll get all of our information about this program. And then we've got a hotline, which is 877-745-1930. And you can call that number, 877-745-1930. And we'll help you get any information that we can help you with, that will help you connect anywhere in the country and make smart decisions, and also understand some of the dynamics around why older people really can benefit from some of these programs to help them get on the internet.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tom. And listen, I'm really excited about what's happening today. Normally, I'm talking to myself in the screen, but actually, there are more calls coming in. And so I think before we move on from the two of you rock stars, let's actually bring on Nick. Nick, are you still here with us?
I am.
Why don't you ask your question before we close out this segment and bring on some other speakers?
Great, thank you so much. My question is this: at all income levels, many elderly persons suffer from visual or hearing limitations or physical limitations that are barriers between them and the use of the internet. Is there a curriculum or a hard and software set of programs available that can address the needs of these folks?
Yeah,
I can take that
great
one.
question. Yeah.
There are many organizations that we work with around the country that help people that have hearing and visual impairments with technology. And so the best way to do that would be to call up, of course, the hotline. We can talk to you about it. We help people with some programs through our operations around the country at Senior Planet. So we've got centers. They're sponsored, by AARP, but also by other foundations and local government agencies. And we teach free classes in community centers to people. And many people simply need to learn to use some of the adaptive devices that are already available on their on their machine. So if you've got say an iPad, and you want to change the screen contrast, or boost the audio, or use headphones to make it easier to operate, we help people with those settings so that they can understand the tools. But also for people with more severe impairments, that's a specialized area of expertise. And there are wonderful organizations, most of them local, but we can connect you with them. We'll help you find some support from people who can train you on those more advanced assistive tools that help you connect to the internet and use it effectively.
That was such a great question, Nick. I have a mother right now that is visually impaired, and she just called me about her use of her tablet and the extent to which she's able to actually see the page breaks well enough and maneuver that. So, Tom, I'm sending you my mother, okay? I'm just letting you know.
All
She's
right,
going to call you and get some
I'll
help.
put my phone right here.
Yes, please, because I've tried, and it's very hard because I'm distant. Even some of the communications online haven't worked. So I'm going to send her to OATS from the AARP. Listen, folks, thank you, Tom. Thank you, Stephanie, for kicking us off. We'll come back to you a little later because I know that there's a contest going on, and Tom wants to come back and tell us about this contest and how people can win a potential Chromebook. I also want to say to all of you that are participating, thank you for being all in this morning. I know you got a lot of stuff to do, but this is an important conversation, and I'm very humbled by my friends here to host this and keep this conversation moving. If you have questions, don't forget 3*3 is a way to actually get on the radio. If you got questions live as you're watching us, please send those forth because we're going to try to get to as many as possible. Thank you both. Now, what I want to do next is because many of you are not just in Washington, D.C., where I'm sitting, you're all over the country. And it's important that we let you know about what's going on in your own backyard. So, this next part of this conversation is going to actually involve what we call a lightning round. That means that we've got some special guest speakers from Boston, D.C., and Detroit who are going to tell us what they're doing locally to address and solve some of these digital challenges that many of you have faced or are talking about. They're also going to really talk about what I love, which is how do we get more people connected to the opportunities of being online? And so listen carefully because you might actually be within their footprint of the programs that they're actually running. So let me start by bringing on first Daniel Noyes. He is the co-CEO of Tech Goes Home in Boston. Tech Goes Home in Boston. Dan, I understand that your organization is fighting for digital equality. You're right up my alley when it comes to making sure people are connected. You know, I don't play. I want everybody in this country to be connected in some way or form. And trust me, I still remember my phone number, NE62437. But we got to make sure that people remember how to get on the internet. So, Dan, tell us about what your organization does, what that means, and especially what you're doing to connect older adults to technology.
Thank you so much, and I'm so excited to be here. Thank you, OATS and Comcast and Internet Essentials. So my name is Dan, like was said, and I'm with Tech Goes Home. And basically what we're trying to do is get computers, internet access, and digital life skills training into the hands of those that don't have it. And we work with people from as young as 3 to our oldest participant we've ever had so far. He was 96 years old, and he took a Tech Goes Home course. We got a computer, and we helped him get internet, and we actually helped him connect to his doctor's office. This was actually pre-pandemic, so I'm excited that he was able to connect to his doctor's office. Quick note on him: he was a lieutenant colonel in the Air Force and a Tuskegee Airman. Two other quick stories I want to share, I think, that really show why this is so important. Is there was a woman who had lived in Boston, has lived in Boston her entire life, and during COVID, she felt very isolated because you couldn't go anywhere, you couldn't see people, so she was looking for things to do outside. And she'd lived in the same neighborhood her whole life, and via using the internet, she discovered there was a beautiful park less than half a mile from where she lived that she had never been to before. So she was able to use that park as a place for peace outside. And the other one I want to share too is more funny, is that I think one of the biggest challenges that people have with the internet, especially older adults, is there's a fear that exists. And so we had an older adult taking one of our courses, and she happened to be visually impaired, and she was actually afraid that the technology was harmful. And so the course really dove into, it's just like, yeah, there are threats. There's threats, obviously, but there's so many wonderful things that you can do online. And what she learned specifically to do was actually to video chat with her great grandchildren who live in Georgia. And we're obviously here in Massachusetts. So I think that just shows very quickly that whether it be communication or health or peace of mind or getting outside, the internet is such a great tool for good, but you need to have all 3 legs of this stool. You need to have that computer, you need to have that internet, and you need to have the skills. So that's why I do what I do. And if you're in the Massachusetts, Boston area, check us out. It's just Tech Goes Home. We'd love to talk to you.
And Dan, for those people who are listening in the Boston area, say your coordinates one more time and perhaps a phone number or an address, a neighborhood, so people know where to find you. We're keeping it real here, Dan,
Sure.
okay? So people can find you.
Of course, I'm with you. So we actually are in 19 cities in Massachusetts, Boston being the biggest, but if you're in places like Lawrence or Lynn or Revere or Chelsea, some of the other communities in Boston, you can visit techgoeshome.org. That's TECH goeshome.org. And if you aren't online yet, feel free to give us a call. Our telephone number is 617 398 7831. And we'd love to be able to connect you to resources that can help you get online and help you have some fun with the internet.
Thank you so much for that. And I'm sorry to put you on the spot. I just want to make sure people know that
Great.
you're real and you're not a bot. People have heard of bots, right? It's actually
I
a
am
real
not
body,
a bot.
okay? You're not a bot. This is not
I
a
can complete
robocall.
that
This is not a
CAPTCHA
bot.
thing. I know the
Right,
bridges
exactly.
and I know where stop signs are. I can do that CAPTCHA thing.
Listen, I have to tell you, I have to bring that up because in my research for my book, I went to visit a senior housing center in Syracuse, New York, and these trust issues are real, right? And this conversation we're having today, sometimes we don't see people on the internet because they think that people are taking their data, and sometimes it's true. So I
Yeah,
want to make sure
sure.
people know that the conversation we're having today is actually rooted in real human beings. If you listen to us by phone, we're not a recording. I also need to
No.
correct myself because I haven't used a rotary phone in so long. I said star something, something, something. Say star three, okay? Just star three when you want to ask a question. Because I think I put in too many parentheses and too many threes. So just star three if you actually want to ask a question. In fact, we do have one that I'll hold until after the lightning round. So if my dear friend that has a question and I wrote her name down, if you can actually hold on 1 second, Shirley, I'm gonna get right back to you. Let's hear what's going on in Detroit and then DC, and then we'll come on into Shirley so we can cap off these questions. So, Autumn Evans, we're lucky to have you today. You're the Deputy
Thank you for
Director
having
of
me.
Oh, I know. It's like I said, I'm enjoying this. Tom doesn't know how much fun I'm having doing this for him because I'm so used to doing really dry things in Washington. But what I'm saying is, Autumn, you are the Deputy Director of Digital Inclusion for the City of Detroit's Department of Innovation and Technology. And you all are doing really great stuff in the city of Detroit that we want to hear more about. Tell us how you are leveraging the Internet Essentials program, you're connecting older Americans, and other supports that are available through the city.
Absolutely. So thank you again for having me. So nice to be here with you all. Once again, Autumn Evans, Deputy Director of Digital Inclusion for the city. I also manage our ecosystem-wide approach to bridging the digital divide, which we call Connect 313. So with Connect 313, we focus on creating hyperlocal awareness campaigns in order to connect our residents, our Detroiters, our seniors to programs such as the Emergency Broadband Benefit, and then what will become the ACF program. So I want to tell you guys about what Detroit is doing to support our seniors in enrolling in the EBB program. We have stood up a very hyper-local campaign where you can call a 313 number and talk to a local Detroiter who can help you determine whether or not you qualify for the EBB program. There are many ways to qualify, especially for seniors, based off of either income or participation in another government program. And if you call that number, you can also hear about all of the offers and low-cost offers that are available in our area. So it's a very agnostic program. We love Comcast Internet Essentials. However, as a city, we can't pick winners. So we want to make sure that our residents have awareness of all of the choices available to them, including such programs as Internet Essentials. So that number is 313-241-7618. If you call that number right now, you'll talk to a local Detroiter who can walk you through the application process, whether that be the verification process or connecting you to your local provider. If you need additional support outside of that and you're not comfortable giving your information online, or you like someone to hold your hand through the process and help build that confidence, those technicians can connect you to a local community partner organization to provide that in-person support. Big shout outs to our partners, our Comcast Lift Zones who are doing that for us, as well as our brilliant Detroit locations. If you are connected to the internet, you can go to connect313.org in order to hear more about the program and also be connected to those resources. However, that phone number is available. You can call 313-241-7618 and hear more about the EBB program.
Thank you so much, Autumn, for that. And Autumn, before I let you go and we move on to Leonetta, I do want to talk about Detroit because Detroit has really come out of the gate to take this on. I'm not going to tell my age, and Tom, you better not actually encourage the AARP to send me my card yet. It's not in the mail, and I don't want to see it yet, although it's probably on its way. But Autumn, when you think about what's going on in Detroit and why it's so important to connect our older Americans in a city, a large metropolitan area like Detroit, why is the city so vested in this and why in these partnerships?
Absolutely. At one point, Detroit was rated the worst connected city in the nation. So 30% of our residents have no access to the internet. And we understand that with the internet comes opportunity, whether that's in order to get help, whether that's, positive health outcomes, or even financial support. So it's very important for a city like Detroit that is, striving for revitalization and making sure that our residents are well cared for, that they have access to information in order to create a better lives for themselves. So even within that 30% of unconnected Detroiters, we know that a large population of those are our seniors. And so moving into 2022, the Office of Digital Inclusion at the City of Detroit will be focused on creating more targeted campaigns for our seniors, whether that be digital literacy resources or telehealth resources.
Yeah, you said the key thing that I think most of the folks listening, listen, we're talking about being connected for the purposes of telehealth. You probably all have done this during the pandemic. It's kept you safe. We're talking about being connected so you can socialize with your family members and friends. We're talking about being connected to get access to government services. Yeah, these are really important right now. We want to make sure the seniors understand that the internet, quote unquote, is not necessarily all these other things that you think about it, but it's a pathway to staying connected to these important areas. Thanks, Autumn. I really appreciate you coming. Look, I would say coming all the way down from Detroit, but we're online. So I appreciate you being here. Now,
Thanks again.
Leonetta,
This is so much fun.
it is. And I'm so happy. Look, we have questions coming in. So after we speak with our dear friend Leonetta, we're going to actually go to these questions that are coming in through the radio. Leonetta Obansanjo, Director of Seabury Resources for Aging in DC. That's in my backyard right now, my friend. I want to hear more about what you're doing in this outstanding work to help older Americans here in the district live with independence and dignity. And I think for many seniors that may be listening right now, my friend, they are actually trying to live independently, right? Trying to live with that level of confidence, and being online might actually be that gateway. Tell us about the work that you're doing to keep people connected and how they can actually learn more about your program as well.
Oh, she's on mute.
You're on mute. I need you to unmute.
Oh.
All right, we're good now.
Okay, great. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here, and I'm so excited to be a part of this forum because we know as people age, as we age, and even younger people, we're having challenges with connecting with all of the technology that we're faced with today. So we find that there are some challenges that some of our seniors are facing, but here at Seabury, we're here to help them. Social isolation is our major challenge for many of the older adults that we work so hard to keep those served and engaged in the community. What Seabury is doing about connectivity for older adults, the Seabury staff is so dedicated and has worked with those we serve over the phone or in person to help them get connected with our virtual programs as we are all becoming more familiar with the world that we're in and online. We have been able to lend our or give devices such as iPads or Echo Show to residents and other older adults we serve in the community. Ultimately, we know there is still a gap in connectivity, which is why our staff call many of those who that we serve regularly to check on them. We are now offering both in-person and virtual programming, and we are tailoring those activities to meet the needs of the participants. Our phone conferences, discussions while visually impaired older adults were especially popular while participants couldn't not meet in person. What what can older adults in DC do to get connected? There are so many resources out there. We have put together a brief guide on our website, which is www.seabury, that's SEABURY, resources, RESOURCES.org. It's a brief guide there that would be able to help you. The district has libraries, recreation centers, senior wellness centers, including one that Seabury operates in Ward 5. We offer free computer use, and Seabury provides transportation subsidies through Seabury Connector Card if you or someone you know needs help getting there. So we do have a transportation service that will card that we can provide that could help you get to some of the local digital programs or community programs offering these services. Thank you, Nicole.
No, thank you so much, Leonetta, for that. And I want to stress what you just said for people. You actually still can offer transportation to these classes, just as the previous caller talked about, right? That there are these wraparound resources, and just have you jump back in real quick, that there will be these wraparound resources that will complement their ability to be connected. Am I right about that?
That is correct. Actually, the mayor did award us some extra funds to provide connector cards to seniors who need to get to activities so that they can be connected to the city and also not prevent isolation. So whether it's a doctor's appointment, whether it's going to a community site, whether it's going to a community computer class, just so we can keep our seniors connected.
That's right. You know, I was in Cleveland and there was a woman that I met who was 88 years old, and she was a senior that actually taught computer classes to other seniors. And the people that came to those classes, they ultimately did the church bulletins for the Sunday service. This was before pandemic, but they used it as a time to socialize. And so I love the fact that we're pushing with people, that we're not saying because you have the technology that you just have to stay at home. We're actually telling you that this technology is a gateway for you to actually get access to other services. So thank you, Leonetta, for that. And for those of you who are listening from Washington, D.C., if you're hearing from all of these great speakers, there's something for everybody across this country, whether you're in Boston, whether you're in Detroit, whether you're finding yourself in Washington, D.C., or other parts of the country, there's something for you. You are not alone in this. Hey, listen, I want to go to some more caller questions before we start getting you closer to this contest and getting you on your way. Let's go to our first caller, which is Monica. Monica, are you there to ask your question?
Yes, I'm here.
Go ahead, my dear. Go ahead and ask your question.
Where can I go in Detroit to learn how to use the computer?
Autumn, that's for you.
Yes, thank you so much for that question. If you can, call 313-241-7618. Let them know that you want to be connected to a Brilliant Detroit location or a Comcast Lift Zone, and they will give you the closest location to where you live. So they'll ask you for your zip code, and they will tell you, go to 123 Main Street. I'm sorry, I don't have it at the top of my head. But if you call that number, I promise you that you will be connected to in-person resources.
Thank you so much for that question, Monica. Did you get everything you need? I think she did. Let's go now to Maureen. Maureen Cotton. I know you got a question that you want to ask live. Go ahead, Maureen.
Yes, I'm Maureen from Boston, and I have problems getting on the iPad, and I want to know where can I find training, and probably close by me. I live right in Boston in the South End, so I'm looking for training because I get on one day and the next day I don't know what I'm doing.
That sounds like me too. I feel like I'm learning new stuff every day, and I have a 10-year-old that teaches me something new every day. Similar answer to the one that was just giving. Feel free to give Tech Goes Home a call. Our number again is 617-398-7831. We have approximately 100 partner sites across Greater Boston offering upwards of 300 to 400 courses per year. And you can either do it virtually or you can do it in person if it's available near where you are. So just give us a call, and chances are you'll have to leave a message because we get lots of calls, but someone will call you back and try to figure out what's the best option for you.
Thank you so much for that. I think I've got one more. Loretta, are you live with us?
Hear me?
Have we opened up? Is that you, Loretta?
Yes. Oh, yes, yes. I'm still here on my cell phone.
Okay, well, give us your question so we can see if we can answer it.
Oh, my question was, can you get like do they help you with a discount if you get food stamp card?
Oh, okay, yep. So the question is, can you get a discount if you are receiving food stamps, right, Loretta?
Yes, ma'am.
Uh-huh. Somebody answer that question for Loretta. Generally, Tom or Stephanie as well, if you can jump in, or anybody, can you get food stamps and still qualify for the program?
The general answer is yes. If you're receiving food stamp support, you will be eligible for these federal programs and also for Internet Essentials. Although I want to you might want to confirm that from the Comcast side, but my understanding is people on SNAP, people that are receiving food stamp assistance, will be eligible. And I also wanted to mention one thing. This EBB program we've been talking about, which is ending at the end of this year, is being replaced by this other program in January called ACP, and that's the Affordable Connectivity Program. Some people who may have even applied for the old EBB program and didn't qualify because their incomes might have been above the threshold will be eligible next year for this new ACP program because the ceiling is higher. There's more. It's what they call 200% of the local poverty level instead of 135%. That's kind of inside baseball. But I do want to say that for people that have been applying this year, if for some reason they said, "Oh, your income is a little bit too high," apply again after January 1st, and you may be eligible for this new program because more people will be able to take advantage of that. The people on food stamps and SNAP, that's one of the standard programs that qualifies you for these kinds of things as well.
All right, perfect. Stephanie, Internet Essentials, food stamps, does it all work together?
Yes, absolutely. You absolutely qualify for Internet Essentials.
Excellent.
As well as the emergency broadband benefit. Yes.
All right, Loretta. So you got an application to fill out. You got the telephone number, so let's make sure you get signed up. We've got Joyce from DC. Joyce, are you with us?
Yes, I'm still here.
All right, go ahead and ask your question, my dear.
Okay, the first question was, is there a contact number for the DC Ferry program, someone you can actually call and talk to? And the second question I had was, could the lady please repeat the internet?
The URL or the number for the Internet Essentials?
Right.
Okay.
For the Seabury program, the internet address for the Seabury program.
You got it. Leonetta, that's for you.
Okay, great. The email address is CSE, S as in Sam, EA, B as in boy, URY, RESOURCES, resources with an S on it, .org.
Okay.
And what was the other part of your question? I missed the first part. Would you like let me give you a telephone number just in case you get lost.
Okay,
she wanted a telephone number. Yep.
Okay, so our telephone number here is 202-529-8701, or you can use 202-397-1725.
Got it. Thank you very much.
You're quite welcome.
Thank you so much. I gotta just, the questions keep coming, so I'm afraid to give you all the number because we'll be here for a long time. *3 if you have something that's burning. We'll try to either ask it live or we'll make sure that we get somebody to get back to you. But there is a question from Francis from New York. Francis asks, when you are accepted to the EBB, what specifically do you have to pay for? An example would be the installation and equipment. He just wants more clarity on what costs are going to be expected from him in the EBB program. And I'll open it up to you, Tom. Go ahead, jump with it, because I'll go into you next.
Well, I think I just want to say some of that can be dependent on your providers, and it's also going to be different, potentially different under the new ACP program. So if you're applying for EBB right now, you should ask your provider. If you're in New York, that would be Spectrum or Verizon, or T-Mobile is there. You've got a bunch of different options in New York City, and New York State has even more. So we can help you get a list of the phone numbers of different providers. But when you call, that would be one of the questions. Are there any additional costs to pay for the installation and things like that? And then when the new program, the ACP, comes out, it's actually going to have more regulations to make sure that those costs are manageable or that they're free. So that is definitely one of the questions to ask, but it may vary by provider. So I would confirm it with them before you sign up.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Tom. Listen, if we didn't get to your question, just stay on the line after the event, leave a voicemail, and someone will get back to you. But we're going to make sure that we get to everybody's question the best that we can. We probably needed a couple more hours for this, but guess what? We don't have it. So I'm going to actually leave for you that number, though, that you can stay in touch with all these wonderful organizations before. So don't hang up, because we're about to tell you about this contest. The holiday is coming up and somebody wants a Chromebook, so just hold on for a minute. But just so you all remember this number, if you want to know more about the organizations that are doing great things in your community, just reach out to that Aging Connected hotline that Tom shared earlier today, 877-745-1930. And before we leave today, I'll have Stephanie one more time give us the Comcast Internet Essentials program number. But just remember, you can get resources from where you live. But if you are part of this conversation, you are actually eligible for a contest. And I'm going to actually turn over to Tom just briefly to talk about how you qualify for one of these Chromebooks that are actually being provided to people who participated today. Tom, you take it away.
All right. Thanks, Nicole. This is the fun part, getting close to the holidays, and it's great to be able to give a few things out here. So we are sponsoring Comcast, OATS from AARP, together with Internet Essentials from Comcast, and we are going to be giving away 15 Chromebook laptops, brand new Chromebook laptops. All you have to do to join this is be over 60 years old, have been on this call or session here, and submit a very brief message, not more than 50 words, that describes how a laptop would be beneficial to you. That's it. You can enter the contest, and I'm gonna read the address, so get your pencil ready. You can enter the contest by going online. Here's the website, www.agingconnected.org/enter now. Just those two words, enter now, but as one word. So ENTERNOW. So the whole address again, www.agingconnected.org/enter now. And you have 2 weeks to submit your entry. So you could go to that website, put the information that you got to up to 50 words, and all the entries have to be received by December 30th before midnight. If you don't have access to a computer or you need help going online, because many people are on this session today just on the phone, you can also select a trusted family member or friend to go online for you and fill out the entry form on your behalf. They will be asked to give their name and contact information as well. If you want to hear this information about how to enter repeated, because I know it's a lot, call the Aging Connected hotline at 877-745-1930. Again, 877-745-1930. When you call, you will be asked to press *1, and then you'll hear the instructions repeated on how to enter the contest. The full rules about the contest are also online at agingconnected.org/get-connected-contest-rules. So agingconnected.org/get-connected-contest-rules, and that'll give you all the rules and information about the whole story about the contest as well. Back to Nicole.
So, Tom, before you leave, there's a deadline for this, right? What's the deadline for people to actually be eligible?
Midnight on December 30th. December 30th at 11:59, and that's Eastern Time, EST. 11:59 p.m. EST.
Now, I said that you had to be part of this call to participate. Is it open to anybody who's over 60? I just want to make sure I don't want nobody finding me and calling me and emailing me, okay?
That's right. They'll call up and yell at you. There's really just 3 rules here. You got to have been on this call. We need to have people that were here. You have to be over 60, and you have to submit that message up to 50 words. That's it. And describe how a laptop would be beneficial to you. I'm sure you've got things to say about that.
That's right. And remember what I said earlier. Everybody has somebody who can help them find that grandchild. They say, what am I going to get for the holiday, grandma, grandpa? You say, I'll tell you what, you can write your list after you write me this little sentence on why I need a laptop. That might actually work out well for everybody. Listen, I have had so much fun doing this, and I want to turn it back over to Tom in all seriousness to sort of share why this interactive resource fair was important and to close out with some final words from Stephanie. But you all have gotten really great resources during the course of this live audio, you name it, interactive resource fair of getting connected. Everything that you've heard about, we just want to summarize. There are resources within your community. There are partnerships and programs with Internet Essentials from Comcast, and there are organizations like OATS from the AARP who are trying to make sure that all of you that are participating today are connected. This is the future. The train has left the station and it's going to get more complicated. So let's get you on this train in first class before it actually takes off even further and you're trying to figure out how to navigate through our society. I'm Dr. Nicole Turner Lee. I'm at the Brookings Institution. Somebody's child, Eleanor and Frank's child. And I just want to say thank you for having me as your host today. So, Tom, I want to turn it over to you to just sort of bring up things that I may have forgotten and thank all of the people for participating and particularly our leaders from our organizations across the country.
Thank you, Nicole. And I just think it's great that we're having a chance to elevate your voice here. You mentioned Oprah earlier and said you're not Oprah, but boy, I could see you being a voice for so many wonderful things in the future out here. And we need people speaking about the importance of bringing people into this digital age. And I want to take a minute and just say thank you to our colleagues here from around the country. Leonetta in DC, representing that city that's done so much on digital inclusion. Our friends from Detroit and the Detroit city government here that again has really become a leader in the national effort. And Dan from Boston, who I've known for many years, who's built a program kind of like what we did at OATS in New York, reaching over 100 community organizations around that city, and people are bringing people online. OATS from AARP works all over the country. We've got sites, and we really are bringing people online in all over the country. We see community organizations coming together. Aging Connected is supported by the Humana Foundation, which has put enormous resources into this. And we've been partnering with Comcast for years, helping bring people online. So I just really want to say I'm thrilled that people came here today. For older people, if you're listening and you're thinking about whether you should try the internet or check out some of these programs, this is the best time to do it in many, many years because of the different resources that are available and the different things that are coming together to make this easy and comparatively affordable for people. So we're really excited to have so many participants today. And I'm going to give it back to Nicole. Thank you.
Thank you. And Stephanie, you want to just repeat again how people can get access to Internet Essentials from Comcast?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Nicole. And thank you, Tom, and all the other speakers and partner organizations who are working with us. If you are interested in applying for Internet Essentials, you can give us a call at 855-846-8376. Thank you all for participating and for all the questions today.
Thank you, Stephanie, for that. And again, if you've been listening to us, I know we gave you a lot of stuff. I know we've repeated a lot of numbers, but you've got the Internet Essentials number from Stephanie. Write that little note, a little scribbly line on that. That's the program to get connected. And then just remember that you could always reach the Aging Connected hotline, 877-745-1930. That's 877-745-1930. Again, I want to say thank you to all the callers that took the time to participate and to actually have the courage to ask their questions. We're rooting for you, and that hotline will help you in case you run into any difficulties. I want to thank those of you that didn't get a chance to ask the question. That guess what? We still heard you by the energy of the conversation that we had today. Just know that there are resources available to you. I want to thank our hosts, Older Adults Technology Services from AARP. and Comcast Internet Essentials, as well as the outstanding speakers, Tom, Stephanie, Dan, Autumn, and Leonetta, and all the people on the back end who have been keeping this call live and active. I want to thank Joey and others who just really took the time to put this all together. Lauren, thank you, because people like me would not be prepped. With 2021 coming to a close, I will just say this as we all get off of this call. We wish you the best of a new year, and we wish you one that is fully connected so that you can stay in contact with everybody who is important to you, including those that take care of you. So with that being said, thank you and have a good rest of the day.